Welcome, and thank you for joining me for this course on rabbinic personalities. I'm Rabbi Tali Adler, a member of the faculty at Yeshivat Hadar. When I was a child, I used to read countless stories about the lives of the Talmudic rabbis. These were men who had lived well over 1,000 years ago, but to me, they were just as real as the people I went to school with. When I played with my Barbies, Rabbi Akiva and his wife Rachel were just as present in the storylines I invented as contemporary celebrities. I imagine what it would be like to meet them, to talk to them, to learn with them in my own first grade classroom. Those stories, that familiarity with the rabbis, shaped my experience when I started learning Talmud. The text became a dialogue between people I felt I knew. My hope is that through the next 10 sessions, you will take ownership over your relationship with the rabbis of the Talmud, coming to know them as people you can imagine learning with. And that the next time you learn a piece of Talmud and see the names of people we've studied together, you will feel like you've walked into a conversation with people you already know. Additionally, in studying the lives of the rabbis, we have a chance to learn more about who we ourselves are as learners and creators of Torah. As you learn with your chavruta, you will have moments where you identify with some of the sages, and perhaps other moments where you are disturbed by them. Those moments are valuable, and when they happen, I encourage you to slow down and pay attention. What are you identifying with or responding to in the story? Why does it elicit an emotional response? Where do you see yourself in the story? Or perhaps, where are you having trouble seeing yourself in the story? By paying attention at these junctures, you will have the opportunity to use the stories of the sages as a sort of mirror, helping you figure out how you understand what it means to learn Torah, and the type of Torah learner you aspire to be. Together in this course, we will be learning about prominent rabbis from the Talmud: Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, Rabbi Elazar ben Arach, Rabbi Eliezer ben Hyrcanus, and perhaps most famous of all, Rabbi Akiva. These figures are from the group of rabbis known as Tanaim, or the rabbis who appear in the Mishnah. They also all live around the time of the destruction of the Second Temple, and their stories reflect the struggle the rabbis faced in figuring out how to keep Judaism alive in a changed world. Each of the sages we will study have different ways of coping with the world in the wake of the temple's destruction, and different intuitions about how best to serve and protect Torah and the project of Judaism as a whole in this new world. In many ways, this class is as much about the questions the sages we study are forced to ask as it is about the specific answers that they give. While their answers might sometimes seem foreign, their questions are often devastatingly familiar. We will see Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, the subject of our first unit, making tough decisions. What should Judaism look like in this new world? What sort of leaders are best equipped to protect it, keep it alive, and pass it on? What needs to be sacrificed so that Judaism can continue, and what is too precious to give up? Later, we will see his students asking different but equally difficult questions. What is their place in this project? Are they creators of Torah or simply its custodians? Is innovation too dangerous in a world where Torah's place is so precarious? What happens when the world of the Beit Midrash, the study house, feels too confining? And how can we make sense of the problem of evil and continue to believe in God's promise to the Jewish people when it seems like good people inevitably suffer and that the covenant has been broken? But first, to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, a student of both the traditions of Beit Hillel and Beit Shammai, and thus heir to the entire rabbinic tradition, lives through the destruction of the Second Temple and goes on to establish Yavna as a center of Torah study. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai in many ways symbolizes the unlikely survival of Judaism in the wake of the Temple's destruction. In the first story we will study in this unit, we will encounter Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai literally being smuggled out of Jerusalem in a coffin, a potent symbol of the near death and subsequent rebirth of Judaism. As you study the stories in this unit, take the time to ask yourself, what decisions do you see Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai making in the wake of the Temple's destruction? What are the costs and benefits of those decisions? Which might Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai have anticipated, and which can only be appreciated in hindsight? How is our Judaism shaped by those decisions? And what might it have looked like if different decisions had been made? I'm really excited to jump into these stories with you. Happy learning.